Welcome. This video I'm just showing how I build up the contours of this lady's face. It's based on a photo I got from pastels.com and the photographer was Victoria Strelka. I struggled a little bit because the couple are underwater, and I was trying to avoid making the faces look flat while still having lots of sort of underwatery shadows. And in this particular time lapse, I really introduced two sort of new techniques for using my pastel pencils, and typically I'll do portraits using pan pastels and only use the pencils for fine details around the eyes or the lips. And so coming back to pastel pencil is a bit of a different game for me. At this time I'd been watching a few portrait artists on YouTube and noticed a number of them make extensive use of a white pencil, using that for blending. So I thought, okay, well, we'll give that a go. And for blending with pastel pencils, I've typically used cotton buds. Sometimes they're called Q-tips. I never actually know what that stands for, a Q-tip, but anyway, maybe it was a brand name of them, cotton bud. And I saw a white pencil being used and this brush. So it wasn't this particular brush I saw being used, but I watched a pastelist use a watercolor brush for blending. And I thought, okay, I'll give that a go. Now, I used the brush on the boy's face to begin with, and I know he's missing his eyelashes. Don't worry about that. We're still just blocking in at this stage. So he's not completed, but I needed to get her face done in order to adjust his face in relation to hers. So even in this video, I won't complete her face. It'll be close to it, but it won't be completed. Where was I? The brush. Right, so I used the brush on his face and I was amazed. So particularly at his hairline. So I did an underpainting of gouache, just a dark gouache, because I'm on a very light pastel matte paper. And getting darks with pastels can be a bit of a trick at times. So I thought, just in the blackest blacks, I'll throw down some gouache to get that going. Anyway, the hairline, where I blend the hair into the neck, I used the brush for that, and it gave a beautiful blending. I was really impressed. However, when I used it on his face, it tended to, if I wasn't careful, it would very quickly flatten it out. So maybe I'll do another video as I get more competent with the brush to sort of show what I learned from it. But for now, I really recommend thinking about using I used a soft watercolor brush, and it made a huge difference to blending, and far superior to using a cotton bud. So cotton bud, I've often been a little annoyed with them, particularly on pastel matte paper. Little bits of cotton come off, and while they push the pastel into the paper, it doesn't always give me the blend that I've wanted. And I've tried all sorts of things. I've got a pen which has got a very sort of little, it's not an eraser on it, It was a stylus pen, I believe, and I'm not sure what the rubber on it is for. It's a little silicone bit, and I've used that for blending, and that's been quite good. But I think the brush is really where it's at. What the brush will do though is it'll knock off quite a lot of your pigment. It'll blend it in, but it'll knock it back quite a lot. So whereas the cotton bud pushes it into the paper, the brush just pulls the pigment together. But anything that's loose on the top, it'll come off. So she's starting to get the contours there, which is pretty much the just trying to find where the light falls on her face, and the shadows. I went a lot more green, and you'll see the green on his face as well, his face and hand. It's much more green than blues. Every time I put the blues on, which worked great on her clothing, I just wasn't so happy with them on her face. Apart from this, which I think might be an ultramarine, and then it was just trying to get her jawline and understand, because she's on an angle, which way I do tend to not see the painting when I'm right up close, because I'm sitting right next to my easel here, and I've got to keep moving back to make sure that I've actually got the angles correct. Blues and greens where I decided to go for my shadows. There we go, nice little bit of that brush action. The brush didn't get too dirty, and I kept using a tissue to just try and wipe the brush on, but nothing was coming off. And flicking the hairs of the brush, nothing really came off either. You might just notice on her chin, I just added a little bit of that. I'm trying to get that prism effect because they're underwater, and there's a little bit of turquoise with some violet to get that sort of violet and blue, to get a little bit of that prism going. Light reflected on her chin. And we've almost come to the very end, and so really this is just a demonstration of how using the brush really improved my ability to shape the contours of the face. So I really recommend, if you're a pastelist, have a go at using a brush and see if it works for you. Thanks so much for watching.